Japan has unequivocally condemned the Hamas-led attack on Israel a year ago and said it is gravely concerned, though, by the humanitarian situation in Gaza. 12 months on, Japanese foreign minister said that Japan has consistently and unequivocally condemned the terror attacks by Hamas and others and urged the immediate release of all hostages still being held captive. Mehendi Garg is joining us for more details on this story. Mehendi, we are, of course, learning of the reaction from the Japanese foreign minister. What is he stated?
Well, Udit, Japan has given a very strong statement and very strongly they have condemned the October 7 attacks by Hamas on Israel while expressing this deep concern over the humanitarian crisis that continues to unfold in the Gaza Strip. The foreign minister, Takeshi Iwaya, has reaffirmed that Japan's firm stance, stating that the country consistently and unequivocally denounces the terror attacks carried out by Hamas and others and calls for the immediate release of all the hostages. And simultaneously, Uday, also Iwaya, the foreign minister, have highlighted that Japan's grave concern over the critical humanitarian situation in Gaza, pointing to the significant civilian death toll and the widespread insecurity impacting both Israeli and the Palestinians also. And he also further emphasized on the Japan's call for all the parties, including the Israel, to adhere to international law, particularly international humanitarian law, and stressed the need for safety efforts towards achieving a ceasefire in the area. And additionally, Iwaya voiced his opinions and Japan's opinions that Japan's serious concern over rising tensions across the Middle East, including in the West Bank, the Lebanon, the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, and also Iran. So very strongly, Japan has condemned the attacks that are being done by Hamas on the Israel right now. Yes, Uday.
All right. Let me, in fact, quickly rope in Major General Rajan Kochar as well, defense expert, into this discussion. Major General Kochar, clearly, of course, a very grim anniversary. Japan, condemning, of course, what happened last year, but also expressing concern over the situation currently in Gaza. Meanwhile, we are learning that in Gaza and, of course, surrounding border areas, sirens continue to go off as rockets are being fired across the border today.
Uday, extremely sad day if we recollect what happened 1 year back, and rather unfortunate, and the entire geopolitics of the Middle East has transformed itself after this incident. Today, after 1 year, if we carry out an analysis of what all has happened and what all has been achieved as far as Israel is concerned, because Israel launched a multi-pronged offensive, not only in Gaza, in Lebanon, and in other areas in Iraq, Syria, Yemen. So once we have a look at all these areas, and today we are observing, as your channel is bringing out, that from Gaza, from this fire of rockets is taking place by the Hamas. I am given to understand that these are M90 rockets which are being fired on Tel Aviv, and most of them, of course, have been intercepted. But the message is loud and clear on this, that in spite of 1 year of offensive, in spite of killing almost 17 to 18,000 of Hamas fighters, their fighting strength remains intact. And it also brings us to a very important deduction that today Hamas has still got their arsenal of rockets intact, because they are able to fire at will. It shows that this was a planned attack. It was planned for 7th of October, and Israel Defense Forces could do nothing to prevent it. At the same time, we are seeing what is happening in South Lebanon. The 91 Infantry Division of the Israel Defense Forces has already entered south of Lebanon and is facing stiff resistance from the Hezbollah fighters. And also we are seeing rocket and missile attacks on Beirut. There has been an air attack also on Beirut. And the focus of the Israeli Defense Forces has been to launch the ground offensive as well as the aerial offensive at the same time in tandem with each other. But what is going to happen in spite of all these two offensives against Hamas and Hezbollah? I have my doubts that what would be the end state of this war? Because as I look at things, Hamas is still intact. Maybe after a couple of months of offensive in Lebanon, we may find Hezbollah also still intact. So I think it's going to be a long drawn affair. If you go back to the 2006 war in Lebanon, which lasted for 34 days. And at the end of that war, it was a stalemate. Hezbollah was not decimated at the end of the war. So I feel that it would be a tall order for the Israeli Defense Forces to totally finish off these two terrorist organizations in spite of the United States. I'm given to understand that $17.9 billion of US military aid since 7th of October has been given by the United States. So in spite of such kind of aid and in spite of F-35 fighters coming in, 2,000 pounder bombs, 500 pounder bombs also coming in, this war is yet to be won. So the ultimate message is that a war does not provide you solutions. It's best to come onto the negotiating table. It's best to start talking with each other, and I think that's the only way forward there.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.